एग्जाम्स करीब हैं और समझ नहीं आ रहा कि कौन से टॉपिक सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट हैं, तो टेंशन लेने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है। अस्सलामुअलैकुम एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू डीपीटी प्रेप विद डॉक्टर माहम। आज की वीडियो में हम पास्ट पेपर सॉल्व करेंगे ताकि आप टॉप मार्क्स सिक्योर कर सके। तो विदाउट वेस्टिंग टाइम, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद पास्ट पेपर ऑफ ईयर 2021। Question number 1 is albumin is an example of, that is, simple proteins. Yes, albumin is an example of simple proteins. Which one of the following has no cleavage plane? So copper crystal is the correct answer. Which of the following molecules cannot form hydrogen bonding among themselves? So all of the above mentioned molecules cannot form hydrogen bonding. So option D, all of the above is correct. Question 4. Which element can form superoxides? So all of the above mentioned elements can form superoxides. So option D is correct. The amazing example of genetic and environmental influence on animal behavior is, that is, imprinting. The fertile time in the menstrual cycle from, that is, option B, 9 to 15 days. The formation of primitive streak occurs during which stage of embryogenesis? That is option B, gastrula. A plant with heterozygous alleles for height is, that is option D, hybrid. The lifetime of an electron in a state is dash times more than its ordinary excited state. Option B is correct, that is exponent 5. A train of length 100 m is crossing 200 m in length. At the speed of what is the time taken by the train crossing the bridge? Option B is correct, that is 15 seconds. Which of the following element same oxidation number in all compounds? Option D is correct, that is both B and C, fluorine and beryllium. Coordination number of an ion is, that is option B, 6. Chances of a son or daughter in human birth is, option C, 1:1 between son and daughter. The process where DNA fragments transfer to nylon sheet on gel is called as, option A, southern blotting. Which of the following is double ring structure? Option C, that is guanine. A container containing 2 moles of liquid ethanol and the gas of oxygen gas was sparked together to form carbon dioxide and H2O. Identify the limiting reagent. That is option B, oxygen gas. Lenz's law is based on, option D is correct, law of conservation of energy. If absolute temperature of deuterium is made 16 times its normal value, then the speed of the sound waves will increase by a factor of, option A is correct, that is 16. The addition of hypochlorous acid to 1-butene gives, that is option B, 2-chloro-1-butanol. Which one is a strong oxidizing agent? So all of the above mentioned are strong oxidizing agent. Option D is correct. Ethylene glycol is oxidized into carbolic acid by, option C is correct, acidified KMNO4. Which of the following hydrocarbons give acid-base reaction? Option C is correct, 1-butene. The solid part of the milk produced by coagulation is known as curd and the liquid is known as whey. This whey is used as food source for, option D is correct, either A or B, that is bacteria or yeast. Besides giving out secretory vesicles, Golgi bodies is also concerned with lysosomes. Option C is correct. Enzymes have a 3D shape due to which type of protein structure? Option C is correct. That is tertiary structure. All of the following statements are true regarding hepatitis A virus except option B is correct, cause chronic liver disease. Which metabolic pathway is common to both fermentation and cellular respiration? Option A is correct, that is glycolysis. The protein that form the matrix of HIV virus is option C is correct, P17. In simple harmonic motion, the restoring force is minimum at option A is correct, that is mean position. If the force on body is plotted along y-axis and displacement covered along x-axis, then work done is given by option C is correct, area under the curve. A person weighing 400 Newton at the surface of Earth at particular location, when the same object is taken to a point located at higher altitude, then the weight of the same person will be option B is correct, that is less than 500 Newton. Which of the following is strongest Lewis base? Option B is correct, that is acetylene. Which of the following is not an electrophile? Option C is correct, that is NH4. Which of the following compounds is more reactive? So more reactive compound is nitrobutene. Option C is correct. Which of the following contains the most acidic proton? Option A is correct, that is thiol. Bond order for O2 is option A is correct, that is 2. The number of orientation of a subshell for which N4 and 1 equal to 3 is correct option is D, that is 7. According to Raoult's law, relative lowering of vapor pressure for a solution is equal to mole fraction of the solute. Option B is correct. The alveoli is lined by option B is correct, squamous epithelium. Hagfish belongs to cyclosomes. Option C is correct. All of the following characteristics applies to cartilage except no inorganic salts. Option D is correct. The gland that serves as both exocrine and endocrine is our option D is correct, both A and B, that is pancreas and gonads. Kirchhoff's current law KCL is based upon law of conservation of option D is correct, that is charge. If frequency of incident radiation in photoelectric effect is increased beyond the threshold frequency, it will affect option D is correct, both A and B, that is stopping potential, as well as it will affect the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons. Alternating voltage and alternating have phase difference of 90 degree with each other in a circuit called option D is correct, both A and B are true. Capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor is the presence of insulator having dielectric constant E is C. If the dielectric is removed from plates, then new capacitance will be option D is correct. The heavily doped region of a transistor is called emitter. Option A is correct. When ethanol is taken in excess and temperature is kept to 140 degree on dehydration, which with concentration H2SO4, it gives a molecule of that is ether. Option B is correct. Which subshell in the fourth transition series is in the process of completion? Option C is correct, that is 5D. The relative atomic mass of neutron is option B is correct. Which of the following does not show anisotropy? Option C is correct, that is glass. Myxospores are the spores produced by option B is correct, that is bacteria. The rare site of infection in urinary tract is option A is correct, that is ureter. Tactician receptors are abundant in human. Option B is correct, that is lips. Which one among the following is an unpaired facial bones? Option C is correct, that is mandible. A step-down transformer increases the output current. Option A is correct. The example of atricious bacteria is option B is correct, that is cocaine. The male reproductive cells in bryophytes is called option D is correct, both B and C, that is egg and oosphere. The characteristics displayed by protozoa are most closely similar to the characteristics of option C is correct, that is animals. The largest phylum of animals is option B is correct, that is Arthropoda. When electromagnetic radiation falls on a surface, then the angle between reflected light and refracted light is 90 degrees at an angle called option C is correct, Brewster's angle. One up quark and two down quarks when combined makes a neutron. Option A is correct. Reluctance of a ferromagnetic material is for a conductor to the option A is correct, that is resistance. The volume occupied by 1.6 grams of oxygen at STP is option B is correct. The bond order of H2 is option A is correct. For endothermic reaction, forward activation energy is greater than the reverse activation energy, that is option A is correct. Three capacitors, each of capacitance 2 microfarad, are connected in parallel to a 12-watt battery. Their equivalent capacitance is option A is correct, that is 6. 3-ethyl 2-pentene on ozonolysis gives option C is correct. CH3-MgBr reacts with CH2O to give option A is correct, that's 1 degree alcohol. Which oxidizing agent is used in oxidation of aldehydes into carboxylic acids? All of the above. Correct option is D. Which is the most stable hydrocarbon? Option C is correct, trans-2-butene. In mitochondrial DNA, the codon ATG codes for, that is, stop codon. Option D is correct. The term survival of fittest was used by option C is correct, Herbert Spencer. The nitrogen gas can be fixed spontaneously by option D is correct, all of the above. That is industrial fixation, biological fixation, and yes, atmospheric fixation. So all of the options are correct. The source of restriction enzyme SEM1 is option B is correct. Consider a projectile thrown initially at a speed of 20 meters per second at an angle of 76 degrees from horizontal. When it reaches the highest point of its trajectory, angle between its velocity and acceleration is option C is correct, that is 90 degrees. Assembly of two subunits 40S and 60S of the ribosomes is option B is correct, that is 80S units. The peptidoglycan layer is found in the cell of option A is correct, that is bacteria. The following graph shows the effect of altering a factor on the rate of an enzyme controlled reaction. What is shown on x-axis? So here's the graph and its correct option is option B, that is pH. In fructose, the functional group ketone present on carbon number, option B is correct, that is 2. If an object is revolving in circular path of radius 2 meter and during its motion it transverse an arc of length 4 meter, then the angle in radians made at the center of the circle by this arc is, option A is correct, that is 2 radian. तो बच्चों दिस वाज द लास्ट क्वेश्चन. आई होप ये पास्ट पेपर्स का सोल्यूशन आपकी एग्जाम प्रिपरेशन में काफी हेल्पफुल रहेगा. अगर किसी भी क्वेश्चन में डाउट हो तो नीचे कमेंट्स में जरूर पूछें. मैं आपके डाउट्स क्लियर करने की पूरी कोशिश करूंगी. वीडियो पसंद आई हो तो लाइक करें और अपने क्लासमेट्स के साथ जरूर शेयर करें. डीपीटी प्रेप with डॉक्टर माहम को सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा. बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर योर एग्जाम्स. मजीद सॉल्व पास पेपर्स के लिए स्टे ट्यून्ड. तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज.